No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym.
Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
There they are, reunited yet again, Leon Rice and Snake. The Broncos arriving a short time ago, getting off the bus here at the pit in Albuquerque, and you know Snake was waiting for them when they arrived. He was taunting Tyson Degenhardt a little bit, throwing some trash their way. He really enjoyed, Abe Jackson, that it was a red bus. Snake was having fun that the Broncos arrived on a red bus. There he is. He's taunting him a little bit. He's pointing at the bus, red bus. You got to love Snake, right?
Oh, he's part of the Mountain West, really. I mean, you have some characters through some other schools. You got the guy who wears just the barrel at Wyoming.
The duck, right?
You used to have the fat guy with his shirt off at Utah State, Wild Bill, I think it was. And then Snake has just been a staple of the bus pull-up since Boise State's been in the Mountain West.
All right, over 5,300 feet. They say you only have 83% of oxygen when you arrive and see the sign at the top of the pit. I made the walk, Abe Jackson. How long do you think it takes for someone like me, a little out of shape, to make the walk? How long did it take you?
I don't know, but I actually just kind of laughed at myself when I saw that elevation. Do you think when Wyoming comes in here, they're just like, I said nothing.
Sweet, 2,000 less than usual.
2,000 less than where we practice. So, but what a great venue, right? I mean, it holds around 15 and a half or so, and it won't be a sellout, but there'll be well over 13,000 in this building. Still the loudest place that I have ever been in. It was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Boise State had a lead, and New Mexico came back, and I think it was a dunk, and I took my headset off. and was just overwhelmed by sound in this place. It's a great venue.
Last year's was pretty good as well, but it takes about 35 seconds to make your way down that ramp. It's the famous ramp here at the pit. We bring you in live here courtside. Abe Jackson, BJ Rains. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We appreciate you for checking us out here as we get you set for a big one, the game of the year, at least for Boise State at this point. There's going to be a lot of big games here moving forward, but Abe Jackson certainly, especially coming off the loss to Utah State the other day, it adds some importance to this one.
Well, it does, and it also adds importance because of the tough road ahead for the Broncos. They have 3 out of their 4 games, next game's counting this one, on the road. They're home against Air Force, and then they're on the road, Colorado State and Utah State. So you get this one here tonight, and that would put you really in the driver's seat for these next few games. You don't get it, and I mean you could be staring at a 1-3 over the next 4 games with how tough the road trip is.
Knowing this team, knowing Leon Rice, I mean, how hard is a loss like that to bounce back from? You're up at the end of the game. You give up a layup with 1 second left.
It's not hard. I mean, there's so many games in basketball that if you don't bounce back from a good win or a good loss, if you don't bring it the next night, you're going to get beat. And this team knows that. The coaching staff knows it. I mean, it happened with UNLV. There was a win that the Broncos probably should have had. Missed some front ends of 1-1s to end up losing that game, come back and beat San Diego State. So I think this team is fine. Coach Rice, the coaching staff, has always been great at adjustments, whether it's for the next game or if it's just in halftime and then coming out and adjusting. So I think the Broncos are going to play well. Is it going to be well enough to get a win? I don't know. You're looking at a top 20 team in the country in New Mexico.
Yeah, we'll get to New Mexico and revisit the pit and this atmosphere here in a minute. But Boise State really struggling. We talked a lot about Max Rice struggling to shoot the ball, but as a team, and I know that's part of it, they are dead last in the Mountain West right now in shooting. I know Leon and company are just hopeful that they're due for a lot of makes here, in the short term, and that'd be nice tonight to shoot 55%, hit 12 threes. But what are you seeing? I mean, this was supposed to be one of what we thought would be one of Leon's better shooting teams.
Right.
They're dead last right now in shooting.
Well, I think we're talking about Max. I think what really hurts him is a creating point guard with like Marcus Shaver. Marcus Shaver drew so much attention when he could go into the paint and then kick it out for either an open 3 or someone closing out really hard on Max where then he could actually get around him. That's not happening this year, and I think you're seeing it take a toll on Max's percentages in the high 20s from 3 and the high 20% from 2 overall. So I think that's some of it, and I think it's also his shot selection. I don't think he's taking great looks, especially from 2. You're seeing a lot of leaners, and I know they went in. Some of them went in last year, but they're not falling this year. And I think that if he's shooting 15 or 16 times and making 4 or so, like he did against Utah State, you might need to look to divvy out some of those shots elsewhere.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees. Tyson Degenhart, Chibuzo Abo, Omar Stanley. You want them shooting as much as possible.
Sure, I think so. And Max could definitely shoot the ball. I mean, I want him to shoot the ball. He has to if this team's going to be successful. But we've seen some first halves where Degenhart gets 2 or 3 attempts from the floor. I think Degenhart needs about 6 to 8 attempts per half at least because he's such a good scorer inside and he can also knock down the 3. So, and then with Stanley as well. But you hit it on the head. I think one of the keys is the Broncos have to shoot well tonight.
He's Abe Jackson. My name's BJ Rains. Hope you can hear us okay. Let us know if you have any issues with the sound. We're here at the pit in New Mexico on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, getting set for Boise State and New Mexico coming up here. They've already had the 10-minute slide, or the extra 5-minute slide, by the way. So I hate to tell you, folks, but it's an 8:45 kickoff tonight. You're stuck with me for another hour until tip-off. But we got a lot planned, I know. Jeff Rammer is going to join us from the Albuquerque Journal here in a few minutes. You guys will be on the air in about 20 minutes over on KBOI 670, so hopefully folks will check out you and Bob. But one more thing about Max. There was a lot of talk this week, and there were some stats out there where he's literally last in the whole Mountain West Conference in shooting percentage, and one of the worst in the country, frankly, in conference play. And everybody wants him to stop shooting those floaters, myself included, in the post-ups and stuff. Last year at the pit, he made like 4 of those in the first half, and the guards are a little bit smaller on New Mexico, so this might actually be a game where if he could make them, this would be a game that would benefit.
Yeah, and those are shots that Max can make, right? I mean, those are shots that we've seen him make last year. He hit many more floaters inside last year than he has this year, but for whatever reason, they're just not going down, and so you have to adjust how you attack offensively if a certain shot isn't going down. But like you said, smaller guards for New Mexico. Max has some good size. He does have some pretty good moves inside, some strength, so I could see him doing some post-ups if he has the mismatch, especially with Jalen House.
Last year, the game went to overtime. It was super loud last year as well. It was a back-and-forth game. Tyson Degenhart had that 3 to tie the game. You're almost going to double overtime, and then they have the inbounds that there was a miscommunication. They get the layup, and Marcus Shaver Jr. actually had a decent look right in front of you guys there for 3 to win the game. But this place, it just gets so loud so quickly. The turnovers that lead to dunks and lead to fast breaks, this place just erupts. I know it's common sense tonight, but how much does Boise State need to limit the turnovers and especially limit those sloppy live ball turnovers that lead to big plays the other way?
That's the key. Other than shooting well, they need to not have turnovers. New Mexico turns teams over 16 to 17 times a game, and the Broncos are turning the ball over about 12 times. So the closer the Broncos can be to their average instead of New Mexico's average, if they are around 10 to 12 turnovers and they shoot 48 to 52%, I think that it'll be a pretty close game because New Mexico is going to put points on the board. They average over 84 points a game in conference, and they've been blowing teams out of this building too.
Their guards, Dent, House, Mashburn. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to the big guys in a second, but when you have 3 guards that are all going for 15-plus points or right around 15, is it just pick your poison? And, I mean, the guard matchup, some Boise State fans are a little nervous about the guard matchup tonight, I'd be nervous. Look, you take a look at the stats. I mean, it's a top 20 team. You have 2 of the most prolific guards in the conference when it comes to scoring, and then probably overall maybe the most athletic team in the whole conference when you throw their big guys in there. So, I mean, I'd be worried too. I'm sure the team's ready and the coaches have a great game plan, but you take a look at it and you say, this is going to be tough. Is it just kind of pick your poison? Do you have to hope a couple of them have off nights, or when they have 3 guards that can all shoot it and score it like they can? What are the keys?
Well, I don't think all 3 are going to have off nights, but you need to come up with some sort of defense that maybe limits some of the looks for 1 or 2 of them, and then hopefully the other guy doesn't go off for 30, because that's the thing that always makes me nervous. If there's someone who's averaging 15 or 16 like all 3 of these guards, they each have the ability to go off for 25 if you're averaging 15 or 16. So it's going to be tough defensively, and what also is really hard is when you're playing so tough defensively, sometimes the offense takes a little bit of a hit because you're so focused on the athleticism and the scoring prowess of these guards. So hopefully the defense doesn't turn into turnovers on the offensive end.
And they got a couple of good big guys as well.
Really athletic. Toppin, the freshman, I think he's really helped them out. They lost their 2 centers from last year, Udeze and Alex, so they needed to replace it. And Toppin has just been I won't say a surprise, but he's just been, I think, playing better than people maybe expected.
I mentioned Boise State in this atmosphere, in this environment. An early nice start, make some shots early, quiet them early would be big. But how do you try, if you can, to make the crowd not be as much of a factor? Do you ignore it? Do you embrace it? What were some of the loud crowds you played in, and how did you deal with that?
Well, at Cincinnati was probably one of the loudest places that I played, and there comes energy from any type of crowd that you're in. And when you're a basketball player, that's what you want in an arena. You would rather have 14,000 people screaming against you than playing at San Jose, where there's 300 people looking at their phones. That you want energy in the building. So whether or not they're chanting your name and wanting you to do well, or chanting your name and wanting you to not do well, it's energy in the building. Teams thrive off of that. I think you hit it on the head, though. Limit those highlight type plays, those bad turnovers that lead to open dunks or highlight reels, because this place, even though it holds 13 to 15,000, can get real small on you real quick.
The officiating in a game like this, always foul trouble, things can be a factor. And when you get a loud environment like this, sometimes the ticky-tack fouls you don't get your way on some of those. They like to play pressure defense. You can't expect them to get in foul trouble, but how important is it for Omar and Tyson and some of these guys to not get in foul trouble themselves?
Well, every single game, that's going to be key. Now, we've seen more production from the bench in the last couple games, which is needed, but you still need your best players to be on the court. And, I mean, that hurt the Broncos when Omar Stanley fouled out 15 seconds into overtime. That game could have been different, but I think probably would have been different if Omar Stanley had stayed in the game and not fouled out. So any team will tell you that you need your best players on the court. And so with Degenhart and Stanley staying out of foul trouble, they need that to happen tonight.
Nobody giving a final thing or two. I'll let you go. No one's really giving Boise State a chance in this game. The point spread's like 11. A lot of people just not expecting with and maybe rightfully so with how New Mexico has played at home. Boise State coming off the tough loss. Anything to Boise State, kind of just nothing to lose tonight, go out there and just see what happens?
Sure, of course. I mean, with social media and all the phones, everyone's getting all the updates on the metrics and the standings and who said what and what the bet line is. And, I think I saw the ESPN percentage was close to 80% for New Mexico in this game. So, yeah, that's going to be stuff that can motivate you to play. But also, like you said, just roll the ball out and just see what happens, because this Bronco team is good. Yes, they've lost 2 games in conference, but this is a good basketball team for Boise State.
All right, final thing. How do they get it done tonight? How does Boise State pull off the upset?
Well, we talked about it. The 2 keys for me is limit the turnovers, try and stay closer to your number of 11 to 12 turnovers instead of New Mexico's, who's forcing 16 to 17 turnovers, and you have to shoot well. You're not going to get through this game if you have a half that's in the 30s. You're just not going to do it. Utah State, first half, I believe we were at 48%. Second half, we're in the low 30s. Same with Fresno State. First half, I think we were around 50%. Second half, we were down in the 33s. If that happens, it's going to be a long one.
All right, about 15 minutes. You'll be hearing Abe and Bob over on 670 KBOI. Abe, we appreciate it as always, man.
Right.
Thanks so much. Going to take a quick 90-second timeout. More live coverage. We got Grammar, the Albuquerque Journal coming up. We'll hear from Leon Rice, some other stuff. Plenty to get to. We got plenty of time with this game getting slid back, so stay with us. We're back in 90 seconds on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show here from Bronco Nation News.
All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com.
We bring you back live to the pit here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. BJ Rains with you. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We're in the Cutwater Studios. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. You see Boise State out here on the court warming up. I'll angle this so you can get a little better view here. Broncos going with the black uniforms tonight, where has worked pretty well on the road so far this season. The new black uniforms, they're going to keep it going again here tonight as the crowd is filing in here at the pit. It's not going to be a sellout. It's going to be somewhere in the 13,000 range. It seats about 15,000, but it is going to be still packed and still rocking. The students making their way in already. They got a nice contingent here, and just a really cool building. It's very unique. You see the bleachers on the left side, or the seats, the chairbacks on the left side. The other 3 sides of the entire arena are bleachers, aside from a couple rows here that you see for the big donors and for the media. We're in a unique spot. The view you see right now is my view here on press row. We're basically in like row 5, which would be basically equivalent to the last row of like the blue seats or the first row of the orange seats at Extra Mile Arena. They've got fans in front of us, fans behind us. I don't know if I'm going to need security tonight or not. We'll have to wait and see if any of them recognize me or not based on my power rankings last week. But very unique setup here that we are kind of in the middle of the crowd here for this one. Boise State will be shooting to the right here for the first half. And then their bench is over on the side that you cannot see. And they'll be shooting to the bench or the basket to my left for the second half. They have a row of suites. Now, this is fairly new. The pit used to just be the pit. You just saw the top there, and those were the seats. You can see at the very top of the screen, they have added a row of suites within the last 10 years or so, and that really is added to the capacity. It's added to their revenue. There's probably about 40 to 50 suites spread all the way around the arena, and because of the way it's designed, those are still pretty good seats. You're not that high up. So it literally is a pit. I showed you guys this earlier, but if you came in late, literally, here's the sign, by the way. You're 5,326 feet above sea level, only 83% available oxygen molecules. Welcome to the pit. And then you see Leon Rice there. I'll talk about what he was talking about in a second. But you have this tunnel right here. And I made the walk down with the video, and I apologize if it's a little shaky. I was holding my water in one hand and trying to get the video. But it takes about 35 seconds to walk all the way down this ramp, and you literally walk from the top, from ground level, down into a pit, down to the bottom level. So you're when you walk in the arena as a fan, as a media, whatever, you are at the very top, and you literally walk down into a pit. And certainly it's a very unique venue. You see the bleachers on that far side to the left. That's the side that I'm on over there, and it is a very unique venue. This was a short time ago that I took this video. But there's the student section over there. That's going to be Boise State's bench. That is to my left. Very unique venue, but a very cool venue. I'm a fan of the pit, and if you've never been down here, you need to get down here and experience it. Again, my name is BJ Rains. You can see the fans filing in behind me. We're here courtside. We appreciate all you guys for checking us out on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com, to view their full inventory of vehicles. And like we said, they have the new NIL deals yesterday with Ahmed Hassanin, Andrew Simpson from the football team, Matt Lauder, as well as Brooke Patterson from the women's golf team, Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. So 5 BSU athletes in Lithia Ford vehicles on NIL deals, thanks to Jim Sturk and company. So we appreciate them for their support, and make sure you check out Lithia Ford Boise for all of your vehicle needs next time you're looking to buy a vehicle. Holly says, so glad you're covering the game. BJ, grateful for your sponsors who make it possible. Thank you, Holly. I'm grateful for you and for all the folks that are commenting. We'll take those score predictions. We'll take your thoughts. But we can't do this pregame show. We can't do this postgame show. Heck, we can't do Bronco Nation News without you guys and your support. That's the whole point of Bronco Nation News, is to kind of make this a community, so you guys that are back in Boise feel like you're here, feel like you're at the game, watching the game, and getting coverage that you can't get anywhere else. You've got Abe and Bob here for 670 KBI on the radio side. Bob's obviously with KTIK as well. But other than that, no local newspapers, no TVs, nobody else made the trip down here except Bronco Nation News. So, again, don't say that to brag. I just say that to let you know that your subscription dollars matter, and they make it possible for me to do this. And all of our sponsors help make this possible as well. So please support the sponsors when you can. Please use Row Painting for all your painting needs, and all of our other great sponsors that we'll tell you about during the show. But it's not possible without our sponsors. So thank you so much. RowPaint.com, our title sponsor. Interior, exterior of your home, commercial, residential, industrial, any kind, all your painting needs. Any painting issue you have, let them take care of it for you at rowpaint.com. We appreciate Andy Rowe and their whole staff for helping us out. And there would be no Bronco Nation News without Rowe Painting, so we appreciate their support. All right, we show you a live look at Boise State warming up on the court. I mentioned the ramp. You see the ramp over there? Well, we had some history today. In the 60 years of the pit, every visiting team that comes in, they try to roll the ball up that ramp. And you just saw it took me 35 seconds. Now, yes, I was walking a little slow and I'm a little out of shape, but it took 35 seconds at a fairly steep angle to, and you can see from this angle just how steep that is, to get all the way up to the top. It's kind of a tradition. The visiting teams like to try and roll the ball all the way to the top, and it's a lot harder than you would think. Jeff Grammer from the Albuquerque Journal told me he thinks it's only happened maybe around 10 to 15 times in the 60-year history of the pit. Boise State was giving it a shot before the practice today. They were giving it a shot after the practice today. And how about this? Kobe Young will let you take a look and a listen. Kobe Young today.
There we go.
Well, there he was, Kobe Young today, able to make it work. I'm on the Oblivious cam. There we go. Wow. I was on the Oblivious cam for probably 10 minutes. Somebody just sent me a picture. There we go. All right, how about that? That's pretty funny. I was just on the Oblivious cam on the video board and just got a crowd cheer from the crowd. Boise State's player. That's pretty funny, actually, that people are getting a good kick out of that. I just had Mike Burns looking up at me, Tyson Degenhart. They're getting a good laugh out of that. nobody wanted to let me know. Even Alex, they're probably enjoying that I was on the Oblivious cam for like 5 minutes. And, huh? Oh, they were trying to tell me. All right, well, I should at least turn to get Bronco Nation News and free pub on the video board. But, all right, there you go. I was on the Oblivious board on the video board for several minutes there. How about that? That is pretty fun. So we don't need the Lobo fans. If you want to infiltrate the chat, that's fine. But let's keep it clean. Have fun here. I'll just ban you and kick you out. It's pretty easy. So if you want to stay in and hang out, that's fine. But if you're going to make a big deal about it, then we'll just say see ya. We are going to have Jeff Grammer join us in a couple of minutes here. That is hilarious, actually, that I was on the Oblivious cam for about 5 minutes there and didn't realize it. And I don't know why I would have looked up at the video board, but yeah, that was fun. All right, that's pretty funny. Talking about RJ Keene needing to be better. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Creamy Cold Boise is going 87-84. Boise State with the win. Where is Snake? Snake was there. We showed Snake at the beginning. Snake did get a chance to meet up with Leon Rice before the game. There's Snake. There he is talking to Leon before the game, and they had a good chat for a long while there before the game. But crowd's starting to file in. Going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. I see Jeff Grammer down there talking to one of his many fans. We're going to get him on here in a couple of minutes. Keep getting your score predictions in. Keep getting your thoughts. We'll take them here on the ICCU YouTube chat. Idaho Central Credit Union, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is right there in your pocket with your mobile app, their eBranch online banking. So easy to use. Highly recommend Idaho Central Credit Union. The Raines family, Bronco Nation News, so happy that we made the switch to ICCU, and you can as well. And they are the sponsors of our road trip coverage, but also the ICCU YouTube chat. So get your comments in the YouTube chat, and we'll be happy to play those. Leon Rice, he talked with the media about Mexico. Let's hear that before we get Jeff Grammer in here. Leon Rice talking about the New Mexico Lobos, the challenges of playing in the pit. Let's hear from Leon Rice, and then we'll have Jeff Grammer live as we continue the coverage here on the show.
Oh, well, it's got to be one of the top 5 venues in all the country, and I mean, it's just. I remember one year they stole it from us, went down and dunked the ball, and the roof caved in. I looked up and I'm like, we're still up 8. It feels like we're down 20. I mean, it can rain down on you, and it's so loud in there, and there's that. And then now they have a team that is playing like the way they're playing. It all kind of adds up. And you saw the numbers of what they've been doing to teams down there, and good teams. I mean, I think nobody can argue that San Diego State, Utah State, and Nevada aren't really good teams, and they just got blitzkrieged down there.
Is that, I know you haven't experienced it yet this year. You will on Wednesday, but was watching the games on TV and paying attention. Is it? I know there was a couple-year stretch there where maybe they weren't quite filling it. It wasn't quite as loud. But I mean, is it back to the good old pit? It seems like.
Yeah, but I don't ever remember it not being loud. Even if there was 8,000 there, gosh, when they make a shot, it kind of caves in on you, and yeah, it's a different kind of crowd too.
Do you watch that game last night from home?
Yeah.
Like the rest of us do?
Yeah, but maybe with little different eyes. Yeah. So, yeah.
So what's your impression after sitting there watching that game last night?
Kind of my impression of what I've thought about them the whole time is they're really clicking, and, they're playing with such supreme confidence because, number one, they got veteran guys, and, they've been through, I look back at old stat sheets, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, he was there then, because they've been there for a while, those guards especially. House and Mashburn, they've been there since Patino got the job. So they just got veteran guys that are really playing with confidence and freedom, and they've all settled into the system that fits them, and it's working for them, and so aggressive. They take on a whole new aggressiveness at home, no doubt. But they're clicking as good as anybody in the country right now. No ifs, ands, or buts.
What's kind of your philosophy when you do go into a loud crowd like that? Do you kind of try and tell your guys, ignore the crowd noise? Or do you think, embrace the noise and just kind of...
Yeah, I mean, you just get the more experience you get at doing that, the better you get at it. And, we do have some experience with it, and we've been a pretty good road team, and I think we're getting better at some of that.
How much is there improvement? Or you say, look to me, when I watch, significantly better than last year. How much is it the two new inside guys have helped?
It seems like they got great chemistry too. Then, just watching them play and great confidence. And when you're winning like that and it's all going right for you, that really helps with your confidence. And I think that's what jumps off the page to me is how, some of those shots they make are like, wow. It takes a lot to shoot those and then even more to make them.
With Den, too, I know everyone's talking about Mashburn and how
Yeah.
it seems like his game went to a new level this year. Which
Yeah, he's one of the best point guards in the league, no doubt. And I think people were anxious to see how those three could fit together, and it looks like they're fitting like a glove.
All right, there you go. There's the Oblivious cam. You can see it on there. They had me on the video board on the Oblivious cam. There's the video. There's the shot. So they got me, and it was at 1 minute and 23 seconds. I don't know where it ended up, but they did. They got me, Jeff Grammer, as we bring in our man Jeff Grammer here. Jeff, let's get the camera here so we can get you on. You got to lean in a little bit here. Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. They have fun with me on the Oblivious cam, man. They love me here, and they love me here at the pit. Hold on, I had you muted there. There we go.
There we go. Now you guys can hear me. I might be better muted. No, they love you here, BJ. Every Lobo fan loves BJ Rains.
I think my appearance on your podcast helped a little bit.
It helped me because a lot of Lobo fans tuned in to just try and hate as much as they could about this Boise State reporter who had the gall to have power rankings that didn't have New Mexico at the top.
Now, did you hear what Rick Pitino said? Or Richard Pitino?
I did.
I have the clip. I don't know if you want me to play it now or I can play it later.
No, play it. Let's do it.
Richard Pitino played a clip about, first of all, while I'm getting this ready, where can folks read your work? What's your Twitter? What's the website? All that good stuff.
Yeah, Twitter, X, whatever we want to call it now, is at Jeff Grammer. I spelled both of them wrong. It's Jeff, Geoff, and Grammer is Grammer. You can get me, my coverage, abqjournal.com all the time, and I'm at both places quite a bit.
All right, here is what Richard Pitino had to say when he came on my show. Speaking of your fans, Coach, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I don't know. I put a power rankings together about a week ago. I was having a little fun on social media, and your fans, man, they love to defend the Lobos. I don't know if I might need security when I come in the building tomorrow night, but they were very passionate about what other folks think of the Lobos. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I saw it. It kept popping up on my timeline. They were going after you, BJ. I was going to defend you.
You know what, Coach? I've readjusted. You guys are right there at the top. I just wanted to see a little more on the road, and you guys have certainly did that at San Jose, and you guys are right there at the top. But then it spun from team rankings to beat writer rankings, and Jeff Grammer was way higher than I thought he should have been on the list. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, but
I think you guys are 1 and 2. I don't know who 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 are on the beat writers in our league, but you both do a great job. I mean, it's funny, fans, they don't realize half the time you guys are just trying to put together a list to get some content out there.
Sure.
And that's the hard part, I think, for you guys is you need to declare a champion every week, and it just changes, So certainly we've been great at home. Lucky to go get some of those on the road because that's the key to any league is win as many home games as you can and see what you can get on the road.
All right, he has us 1 and 2. He didn't say who was first, but I guess that was a compliment there.
I'll take top 25 on his list as long as I'm top 25. Look, the truth is, I know every Mountain West coach in the league has Jeff Grammer clippings up on their refrigerator, if anybody still does that.
Yeah.
No, the truth is Patino's been great. I know you and Leon have a good relationship, beat writer, coach relationship. Doesn't mean we always get along. Doesn't mean he likes everything I write, but he is a good coach to be the beat writer covering. It also helps when they're winning. They're in a better mood a lot when they're winning.
Yeah, you're asking a lot of positive questions and things. Tell us about the pit, man. We see the crowd filing in here. I know it's not going to be quite full tonight, but this year, I know last year was good too, but they're playing better. The crowds are back in here, and this place is becoming a difference maker again.
Yeah, I think it is, and they've played to that too, right? They talked about they want to run a lot. They've said that in the past, and last year they did it at times where they ran a lot and tried to wear out teams and use this energy to their advantage. This offseason, they were able to get a little depth that they realized would be able to play. 2 freshmen that they picked up, both of them are in the top 6 or 7 of the rotation. And when their depth looked as legitimate as it has been, they realized, look, why aren't we running more? Why aren't we going to be a top 10 tempo team like they are? I think they're 8 right now. Why aren't we using Jalen House at his best, which is just being a tenacious, annoying pest on defense? And that's what they've done. And this place gives them energy like crazy. I don't know if Jalen House needs it, but if he needs any of it, this place gives it to him.
What's been the most impressive thing so far about the Lobos this year? Maybe in particular the last 4 or 5 games, they're blowing teams out here.
I would say their points off turnovers. It's something they try and generate all the time. Obviously, they try and get turnovers, right? Any team that has a chance to get a turnover and take it coast to coast for a pick six, as a lot of coaches call it, but Richard Pitino often uses that term.
Which, by the way, Leon told me Leon did tell me like an hour ago.
The pick six.
He read that. He read that. Yeah.
So the pick six it's crazy because it's not just Jalen House, but if True Washington, Jalen House, and Nelly Jr. Joseph as a center surprisingly has such good hands and feet, which is a little surprising because he doesn't finish at the rim a whole lot with his hands, but he has such good hands out on the top of the key when he's hedging on picks and stuff like that. He's a guy that has had multiple, probably 7 or 8 this year, steals the ball up, past the 3-point line, takes it himself coast to coast. You don't see centers do that often. He's done it multiple times. But anyway, they're getting a lot of steals where they take the steal directly to a layup or a dunk at the other end. So those pick sixes in this past 5-game win streak have been, I think, the biggest part. And you could say that's offense or defense because the points are coming up. Sure. It's really been their defense.
What about in the rare times they've shown stretches where they've struggled? If Boise State were to come in here and have a chance to win this game, what needs to happen?
So Jalen House in foul trouble has still been an issue. When he gets into foul trouble, and he does play so aggressively that he can get in foul trouble, I do think that there is at times an over-reliance on, somebody will figure it out. So sometimes they get caught up in not running anything as a team. They resort to their first 2 years under Pitino when you have Jalen House and you have Jamal Mashburn Jr. and not a whole lot else. I know last year they added a big man in Morrissey Daisy, but that first year in particular, they were really one-on-one oriented. They resorted to, we can't get things rolling, but we know Mashburn can get that mid-range jumper anytime he wants, or Jalen can do his own thing. They've resorted to that a few times this year, but the reality is this 5-game stretch, it's hard to nitpick. They've been scoring in the 80s and 90s. They've been holding teams well below their average. It's 5 games that they've won by an average of 20.3 points. So it's not just like 5 wins in a row. They were averaging over 20 points a win in this stretch, and it's against San Diego State, Utah State, Nevada the other night by 34, and then 2 road games against Air Force and San Jose State. We know, where they are in the standings, but it's 2 road games that they took care of the way you're supposed to take care of a road game.
Now, we joke about it now because I do think they're, if not the best team right there with Utah State. But my whole thing was I want to see a little more on the road.
Right.
And their schedule is extremely backloaded. Their last 5 road games are the 4 hardest, maybe the 4 places they're battling with, Nevada, Boise, San Diego, and Logan, right?
Yep.
And then they also go to Wyoming, who looks like no easy text as well. You see the booze raining down as Boise State takes the court for warm-ups here. But we're not really going to – we think they're good. They look good, and they're beating good teams here, but they still have some tough stretch to come.
They've been pretty open about the reality of their schedule, right? They know they didn't schedule hard in the non-conference. They wish they had scheduled a little harder, but there are some factors that, like it or not, they had to do 18 home games this year to make up for football revenue issues, whatever. They had to do a lot of home games, so they couldn't get home and homes with anybody. And if they just go on the road, there's issues with that. So they did that anyway. They went to play at St. Mary's. So they know their non-conference wasn't great. They wish they were in a better MTE. They're going to try and get in a better one next year. In league play, they knew, okay, we opened to Colorado State, who at the time when league play opened was the best team in the league, right? Ranked 13th in the country.
Yeah.
But they knew that their first half wasn't their more difficult half. All they could do with that first half of league schedule was to, as they keep saying, stack up the wins, stack them up as best you can, and that's what they've been doing, and they've been doing it impressively. So, look, if they head into the second half of Mountain West play, where they are right now, top 20 net, top 20 KenPom, it's hard to argue they could have done much better with a better schedule. It's hard to get better than top 20 in the net and top 20 in KenPom.
Yeah, no, they're on a roll. They didn't play maybe the toughest schedule. They beat those teams badly. They were supposed to and did what they needed to do in the computer rankings. What do you make I know you watch pretty much every Mountain West game. What do you make from afar at Boise State?
Look, nobody's saying Max Rice isn't still one of the better players and better guards in the league. He just hasn't got there. Well,
people in Boise might be.
Well, he hasn't got there yet this year, is what I think everyone can agree with, right? At some point, he's going to have one of those games. Why not tonight, right? Like, if Max Rice does that, great. Tyson's still a great player. Omar Stanley's the guy that I think surprises me the most. And if Roddy Anderson is coming along, like maybe that first month, it took him a little while to get rolling. If their point guard play is, I guess, solidified, and if Max Rice can get going a little bit, they're fine. Tonight, they're running into a bit of a buzzsaw, but it's not an unbeatable buzzsaw either.
Yeah. Now, I did find out they actually did add extra security around Boise State's. They had an extra police officer waiting right when the team arrived today. There was some extra security. One of the cop, at least that I talked to, said they weren't originally going to let Snake walk over and talk to Leon, and they said that they've asked for added security because of what happened last year. Leon waved him over and said no, it's okay, and they let him come over. I know that's in the past. They obviously honored the baseball team last game, not tonight. But just a year later, what are you thinking back when you look back at that whole? I know we talked about it on your podcast, but for folks in Boise that maybe haven't heard,
I think look, not to get too much into the journalism side of it all, but I think the people here in Albuquerque and around this program, around the pit, did not like the initial coverage of it because it was very one-sided. It's Leon Rice saying this is what happened. A month later, and you reach out to UNM, though. To be very clear, you tried to get UNM side and it didn't come. A month later, I get a copy of a report that they filed with the league, and when the league decided there wasn't going to be any punishment, and I get a copy of that report, and it's very one-sided on UNM side because they didn't interview anybody from Boise State for the report. So I get some of that from the Boise State crowd, and I think actually that report came out the day before the Lobos played in Boise, so I think it was when I got there.
Yeah.
So anyway, the timing of it all was as such that I think two fan bases probably thought there were two one-sided articles going against their team. But in both cases, we reached out to both schools. I do think that it'll be I don't think UNM will do anything about it. They'll try and let it go, but I do think that there will be plenty of people here. I'm looking at the student section right now that I'd be shocked if they don't take me out to the ball game or something baseball related. I see a guy in the front row wearing an Albuquerque Dukes jersey.
There you go.
The Dukes are the old AAA baseball team here in town that people love.
When I got here, I heard the baseball team taking batting practice.
Yeah.
Leon said he would have loved to gone over and maybe let the one player pitch to him or something. You know,
that would have been great. That would have been great.
He goes, "You think they'll let me take a few swings?" Final thing, let you get ready for the game. What's your thoughts on this matchup? A lot of people in Boise don't think they stand much of a chance. We see the point spread balloon up to 11. Any chance Boise State can hang around in this one?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, it sounds it's not based on a whole lot of data other than I'm pointing to the Lobos right now. They can't keep this up. What they've been doing is pretty remarkable. So when it does kind of crash down a little bit or they get brought down to earth a little bit, I am curious to see how they respond and if they're tired. Last year, 14-0 start, there was a point in the season where they just looked tired and like, oh, man, all right, let's kind of regroup, and it took them a few games to do so. At some point during this stretch, they're going to hit the same thing, you know. Great record right now, but once they kind of get brought back down a level or two, let's see if it takes them a game or two to regroup. I will say this, different from last year. Donovan Dent is a fantastic point guard, and if all you know of the Lobos is the name Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr., still hate Jalen House. He's the most annoying player for 10 teams in the league that aren't the Lobos. But Donovan Dent is a fantastic point guard and just a sophomore. He could have a big game tonight.
We appreciate it, Jeff. Once again, what's the Twitter feed and all the ways to find it? Although somebody said if they're not already following you, they're not a true Mountain West basketball fan. So
at Jeff Grammer, GEOFF, Grammer, GRAMMER. The best thing going in all of the Mountain West is that my daughter flips a coin before every game, and she's destroying me picking Mountain West games.
And if folks would just go against your picks, they'd be rich too.
They would be rich. I'm 14-29 right now. I am
for
awful.
Somebody that watches every game.
I watch so much Mountain West basketball, and I am awful.
Which may tell you all you need to know about this league. A little bit. You think someone like you would know what's going on, and you can't even predict it.
Nah, I don't know.
We appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks a lot. We're going to take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll continue live coverage. This is the Lithia Ford and Boise pregame show. We're live at the pit in Albuquerque. 20 minutes till tip-off. We're back right after this.
Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON Management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON Management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at tacobellworks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com.
Back here live at the pit. We appreciate you for joining us. My name is BJ Rains. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We're in the Cutwater Studios. Mobile studios today down here at the pit. You see the crowd filing in. Going to be close to a sellout tonight. This place is packed and going to be rocking, and we appreciate all you guys for checking us out here on, again, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. More than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Taco Bell, you heard it there on the advertisement. Go get some Taco Bell. Fourth meal, breakfast. Those quesadillas are awesome. Love everything from Taco Bell, and they're hiring. All the Treasure Valley locations are hiring, and they'll give you half your wages the very next day after your shift. So you need some quick cash, some quick money, looking for a job, look no further than Taco Bell, and you can get more information and apply at tacobellworks.com. You see the crowd filing in. We are approaching tip-off. We got 17 minutes on the clock, so we got about 5 minutes left on this show until the national anthem hits, and I think we'll need to be off. Maybe we can go a little longer if we're having fun. We'll see. Broncos got 77-73. We got Chad with 79-68. The pit looks cool. Let's see what else. Did we talk about Kobe Young and his pit roll? Let's play it again. I already played it once, but in case you came on late, this is a tradition at the pit where the visiting teams try to roll the ball up the ramp that you see right there. And again, it's a very long, steep ramp, and I watched about 20 Boise State players try it, coaches try it. Nobody could get close. A couple got kind of close. Chibuzo Abo got kind of close. Cam Martin got kind of close. And then Kobe Young, he was the one able to do it. He let it fly, had a good roll. And there it is. Hopefully for Boise State fans, not the only celebrating they'll be doing at the pit today. But, again, according to Jeff Grammer, that's only happened like 10 or 15 times in these 60 years of the pit. So that is not a very common occurrence for that to happen. And maybe it's the sign of good things to come. Maybe you got to find a way to get Kobe Young some playing time, right? I think you got to find a way to get Kobe Young a little playing time if that's going to be the case. But, no, it's going to be an exciting game. Okay, here's the officiating crew. You can see them right here. I'm going to give you some insights on the officiating crew. And much to the disappointment of New Mexico or Utah State fans, I am not going to be ripping on the officiating crew. Just going to tell you the stats here, all right? So, the bald guy you see right there, DJ Karstensen, all right? He is the bald guy in the middle, DJ Karstensen. He's mostly a Big Ten ref, has done some Mountain West games. last night. He was at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, officiating Indiana and Iowa. And after reffing in Bloomington, Indiana last night, he makes the way out to the pit for a Wednesday night game. Not a lot of Mountain West games, not a lot of Big Ten games tonight. So he makes his way out here. He is the number 31 ranked official at KenPom. DJ Carstensen is our lead official tonight, I believe, or he's actually number 2. And again, he has done a couple. He did Air Force UNLV. He did Nevada, Colorado State a week or two ago. So he's done some Mountain West games, but he's primarily Big Ten for most of his games. DJ Carstensen, one of the officials today. All right, Randy Richardson, one of the other officials today. He's ranked 39th at KenPom. He was last night in Fort Collins. He did the Colorado State, San Diego State game last night in Fort Collins. And he makes his way down, probably on a Southwest flight like I did, from Denver to Albuquerque today. And Randy Richardson, number 39 at KenPom, also one of your officials today. The third official is Deldry Carr. Deldry Carr comes in at number 70. So all three of these officials ranked higher than any of the refs from the Utah State game. Deldry Carr was in Colorado Springs last night at Clune Arena doing the Wyoming Air Force game. So Wyoming, the road team, comes in and gets the win at Air Force. Deldry Carr was there for that. Deldry Carr did the Vanguard game earlier this year, Boise State Vanguard, the season opener, when Boise State won by 34. So 3 decent refs tonight. All of them worked games last night, and all of them traveled today to make it here. So allowing physical play. Maybe in the Big Ten they're a little more physical. We'll see if that's the case tonight. I don't know if that's for sure going to be the case or not, but there's all kinds of theories. But I would say that you're always nervous about the officiating crew at the pit just because of the crowd and the influence it can have. But I would say 3 guys that have been around the block. Randy Richardson actually was a long-time NBA official and now has transitioned to college. So I think that the officiating crew won't be terrible tonight. There you go, Carl, giving us some love, wishing that New Mexico had something similar to this. Hope it's a good game tonight. Hey, you never know. Maybe we can start Lobo Nation News and get somebody down here in New Mexico to start covering them for us. Maybe we can get some other outlets of other teams going and do this. Randy McCall's KenPom. He's not doing the game tonight, but I'll check it for you. Randy McCall is he's pretty high, I think, actually. Let me see where he is at. Randy McCall is 29. Now, the way they come up with this, by the way, is they don't actually grade them on their calls. They grade them on the games they get assigned. So if you get assigned better games with better teams, you get more points for that, and that they assume you're a better official if you're reffing at bigger games and better teams. So the more big games you get to ref, the higher your rating is. So for Boise State to have 3 of the top 70 guys tonight, 2 guys around 40, and then number 70, not terrible, not the end of the world. So crowd's coming in. It's going to be a fun one. This might be one of the arenas that does the national anthem right before tip-off. I don't see them getting set for that anytime soon here. It doesn't look like. Let's hear from Richard Pitino. Again, get your comments in, your score predictions, your where you're watching this from. We'll get your score predictions in. We got about 5 minutes left or so here. The game is not going to start at 8:30, by the way. I believe it's an 8:40 start, maybe even 8:45 if they pushed it back to 5 minutes on Fox Sports 1. So we do have a little more time with an 8:45 start. Let's hear Richard Pitino. We're waiting for the teams to come back on the floor. Here is Richard Pitino talking about Boise State. This is the New Mexico coach, Richard Pitino, earlier this week on Bronco Nation News, talking about going to the pit or hosting Boise State at the pit tonight.
Yeah, I really like him. I think when you think about scheduling, it's interesting because nobody scheduled harder than Leon and his staff. And they drop some of those games early, and do the fans get impatient and all the, you don't know, it's an inexact science, but credit to them for challenging themselves. That's, we want to build our schedule as the program kind of grows, but they've got some really good players. I mean, Chibuzo Agbo, we recruited hard. We wanted him. He's a terrific player. He's got size, length. When he shoots it, you're concerned because he really pops up there and can shoot over the defense. Dagenhart, I thought should have been player of the year in the league last year. Amari Moore is really good, but obviously Dagenhart was terrific as well. Max Rice is very, very underrated. I think it's because he's a coach's kid. I think that's kind of the way it always works. But he's really hurt us in the past. So you've got Omar Stanley, who I was telling my dad he was here the other day. I'm like, you do know he was a really good player at St. John's, right? Plays with a high motor. So, I think, and Anderson's a really good point guard as well. So I think their record may not be quite as indicative of how good they are because they've scheduled really, really tough. So a lot of respect for what they have done, the consistency that they've built in their program. And those guys are winners. They really are. So it's going to be a tough out for us.
There he is, Richard Patino. We appreciate him in the sports information department at New Mexico for making that happen, giving the opposing media time on their show. He's already the third coach, joining Steve Alford at Nevada and Colorado State, Nico Medved, for doing it as well. So we appreciate them. You see the pit is filing in. Again, these are bleacher seats behind us. Only the one side on the opposite side there has the actual seats. You have the bleacher seats on this side, and it's a very unique venue. You see at the top of the screen there, all the suites and things. Don't forget, by the way, to check out Bronco Brew Coffee. My wife just got some BroncoBrew.coffee. Check it out, and you will not be disappointed. Highly recommend Bronco Brew Coffee, and you're helping the NIL game at Boise State with every sip. Bronco Brew Coffee. And I see our friends on the private jet making their way in. Matt Bauscher, it looks like. He's got the backwards hat. Matt Bauscher is all business today. I see Cody Gogler has made it with the blue sport coat. So some Boise State fans have made the journey down here, and I believe how about that? I'm pumped for them. I had the chance to come down, and I wanted to make sure I got the full pregame show. Could have rode back with them on the jet, and that'll be a fun ride if they find a way to win this game. But decided to stay tonight so we can do the full postgame show. But that's going to be a lot of fun on the jet if Boise State can get the win. But, yes, Matt Bauscher in attendance, front row, backwards hat. He looks hydrated and ready to go. I guess we'll just say that. So should be a fun one. Appreciate you guys for checking us out. We got to jump off here. They're getting ready to do the lineups and the anthem and all that here in a few minutes. We're about 15 minutes from the actual tip-off of the game at 8:45. So appreciate all you guys. We're 57 minutes here, and we appreciate everybody for hanging out and watching our show. Enjoy the game. We'll be back on the post-game show again. Lithia Florida Boise post-game show about 5 minutes. We'll be live right after the game. It's like 5 minutes after the game. We'll have Leon Rice live, some players live. Make sure you come back and join us after the game, right after the game. Flip over on your smart TV to the YouTube app and get ready for Bronco Nation News on the postgame show. So thank you to Jeff Grammer. Thank you, Dave Jackson. Thank you to all of you guys. Enjoy the game. We'll see if Boise State can pull off what would be a fairly massive upset and get back, stay in contention here in the Mountain West race and pick up a huge road win tonight at the pit. Again, going to be tough. They're like 11-point underdogs. We'll see what happens. But go subscribe if you can. You got 15 minutes till tip-off. BNN50 deal is that promo code at the bottom of the screen. BNN50 deal gets you a full year, and you can be on that private jet with Matt Bauscher going down to San Diego for the final game of the season if you win our grand prize, and you got to be a yearly subscriber to be entered in that. So thank you guys for checking us out. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you afterwards. This has been the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show from the Cutwater Studios. Bronco Nation News Live. We'll talk to you after the game. BroncoNationNews.com.